Square One. What is this game?
I don't know, man. It's a weird thing. It's a racing game, shooting game, music game, crazy acid trip game. So you're in a tube, and you go around the sides of the tube, and you try to hook onto enemies and try to pull yourself forward, and that's like the primary mechanic, and you want to go through the tube as fast as possible sometimes. Other times you're trying to, like, you know, get as many combos as you can. Graze, there's another mechanic called grazing, where you hook onto an enemy, there's a circle around it, you want to go through it. That collects energy. You use the energy to turn yourself into a weapon called the lance shot, where you shoot yourself forward real fast, and then it just constantly adds new mechanics until the very end of the game. Every level's a new mechanic. Yeah, it makes sense when you go through the whole thing. I promise. The idea, where did it come from? I don't know. It started off as something completely different, and I had a game engine that I wrote that I can change really, really fast, so I can have the game running as I reprogram it. So I'd have the game up, reprogram it, have the game up, reprogram it, and for a year and a half, I just sat there changing it and changing it and changing it and playing with different ideas to see what worked. And then once I knew what worked, you know, then I took it and made a game out of it. So people would be like, oh, you ripped off Frequency. And I was like, well, I better go find out what that is. So then I looked at it and I watched videos and I was like, well, I don't know if Frequency's good or not, but like it seems cool. And I kind of get like that there's some similarities or whatever, but no. Everyone claimed I copied Stun Runner, which is a game I hadn't even heard of until I had been told I copied it. I will fully admit that I copied Rez. Like, the way the game started was I wanted to see how they made Rez. So all the graphics effects and things like that, I was like, well, I'm gonna clone Rez and see where it goes. And, you know, it's now nothing like Rez, but the way it started was totally me figuring out how they did those graphics. There's no fixed music in the game at all. Everything you do, all the music is made by how you play. So the longest loop, I think, is 7 seconds. 3.5 years ago, it was my full-time job, and it was a part-time job for, 6 to 9 months before that. Because I didn't know if it was going to work. I didn't know what I wanted to do with it. Like, I had been working on like 5 or 6 games at the same time, and seeing which one I liked and which one went where I wanted it to go, and this was the one I was really happy with. I funded the whole game myself. Sony's not publishing it, I'm publishing it, right? Like, Sony has very little involved in it in terms of that. I got Pub Fund, which means that they guarantee a certain amount of money. So as soon as the game is done, I'm getting guaranteed a certain amount of money, but like, it's not a lot. I mean, it's enough, like, I'm very grateful for it, right? But it's not like I'm gonna be a millionaire or something. I'm not interested in having people tell me what to do. I wanna make whatever the hell I wanna make. I have to fund everything myself, and it's weird and niche. It's not gonna sell 100 million copies or even a million copies, right? It's gonna be a small game, and it's nice, but it's all my risk. I wouldn't want to go with a publisher. I wouldn't want to go first party with anybody. I was going to do third party anyway, and out of this they get like more people who want to make games on PS3, that's all. And I mean, like, now they're showing it at E3, they showed it at GDC, it's being shown everywhere, right? So it worked out. And now they're super backing it, so it's great. So when I was working on it constantly and I'm doing QA and shit right now, right? And I got really sick of it, but I took a day off. And then at the end of the day, I went into my living room and I was like, okay, I got to play it and see if I notice any bugs. And I sat down and played it, and I was totally like loving it. So there were moments when I'm like, I never want to see any of this again. And then like after I step away for like even like 12 hours and I come back to it, it's like I remember why I'm making it. I actually really do like it. I'm not sick of it. It'll be released either July or August. Otherwise, I'm going to kill myself.